going to go ahead and get started because I know you guys have a lot of things to do probably other than this. So, and we definitely want to respect everybody's time. So again, for those of you that are on the call, my name is Dr. Sheffield, and I am the Program Manager of Post-Secondary Access for College AIM. And so on our call today, we have Trinity College, who has agreed to basically share some wonderful information with you, the students, and just to talk about, some of the things that they have to offer about being a student at Trinity College. So I am going to turn this over to Sebastian and Randy, and then at the end, we actually also have a student, Dion, where I will ask him a couple of difficult questions and just and allow him to basically share his experience at Trinity College. So Sebastian and Randy, the floor is yours.
Randy, do you want to start off with your introduction and then I can jump into things?
Sure. I would just like to welcome you all to our presentation today. Thank you for tuning in. I know you're on Zoom very often with your classes and, all of that. So we really appreciate you giving us your time as well. Dion, thank you for joining us as well. And I am going to defer to Sebastian. He is our Assistant Director of Admissions, so he will be speaking with you about the admission process for Trinity. And I will defer to Sebastian. So thank you all for your time. We really appreciate it.
Sure. Thanks, Randy. I've been at Trinity just over a year, but I've worked in higher education for a while now, primarily in New England. At Trinity, however, my responsibilities are primarily with our multicultural recruitment team, as well as our transfer team, and just some other projects as they come along. Again, thank you all for taking the time to connect with us today. We do recognize that this is a little bit different than we would have done in person. However, we'd love to welcome you to campus, when we are having visitors on our campus. So that being said, just in terms of our presentation today, I know we don't have too much time. We're usually used to doing these, in 45 minutes to an hour or so. So I'll do my best to sort of keep this brief and to the point. And then if you do happen to have any questions, I highly encourage you to either unmute yourself, or you're always welcome to utilize the chat feature at the bottom of your screen as well. So that being said, we typically do a year-by-year overview of what your Trinity experience might look like if you were to attend. However, before we jump into sort of year-by-year outlook, I'd first like to cover 3 points that we believe really set us apart as an institution. So first and foremost is that we are a traditional liberal arts college. So we're on the smaller end of things. We have right around 2,200 students in our student body. We do also offer a handful of graduate programs. However, the majority of our focus is on the undergraduate education that we offer. Now, we sort of combine this liberal arts education with some innovative programs as well. So we have a human rights major and minor, which is actually very rare to see, not just at a liberal arts college, but really any domestic institution overall. And we do also offer a fully accredited engineering program with a number of concentrations for students to select from. We also have a very strong commitment to students' academic and social success. And this isn't just limited to the first year, which is typically seen as a year of transition, a year of change, but it's really all throughout a student's 4 years on campus. It's really shown by the work that the folks do in the Center for Student Success and Career Development. Their office is located in the same building that we're in. We do a lot of work together. We're all essentially working towards, again, the success and support of the students that we have on campus. And then finally, our urban location in Hartford. So we are located in the capital city of Connecticut. So Hartford's home to around 180,000 people or so. So not quite as large as, say, Boston or New York City, but still lots to do in terms of entertainment, internship, work opportunities for students. So without further ado, jumping into the first year here. So at least thinking about academics, the focus in the first year really is going to be around your first year seminar. So this is essentially a requirement of all first year students that's going to span particularly your first semester on campus. So it's essentially a course that's going to have no more than 15 students. It does sometimes have as few as 6 or 7, even per class. So it's definitely on the smaller end of things. And the main focus of this class is going to be to develop your academic skills that you'll then later use in other coursework and even beyond college. So those skills will include writing, research, discussion, debate skills, and many others. What's really great about this class is that you'll have over 45 different topics to select from. So these will vary from year to year, but classes that we have offered in the past that have been very popular with us have been How Microbes Rule the World, for example, which was offered by the biology department, The Mafia, offered by the Italian department, Free Speech and Censorship, which is a little bit more of an interdisciplinary offering, and again, many others to choose from. You'll be asked to essentially select your top few preferences for your first year seminar, and most students find that they are able to be placed into their top pick. Your first year seminar professor is also going to serve as your first year advisor. So this will be someone who is really going to get to know you, not just as a learner, but as an individual. They're going to see what you bring to the table, get a sense of your strengths and your weaknesses, and really your goals for the future as well. In addition to this individual, you'll also be paired with a first-year mentor. So this will essentially be an upperclassman, junior or senior at the college who's familiar with academics, with social and co-curricular offerings, and be able to mentor you or guide you as you sort of progress through your college experience. In terms of housing during your first year, we utilize, as many other institutions do, a residential life survey, which will essentially pair you with a compatible roommate. Now, something that's important to mention here is that although we do utilize, similar survey to many other institutions, what's unique about us is that our Office of Residential Life does a fantastic job in terms of hand-picking and hand-selecting your roommates. They don't utilize any kind of software or algorithm when making these decisions. They are very intentional in how they go about this process and how they sort of create housing assignments for first-year students. Something that's great in terms of housing at Trinity is that we do offer singles for students all 4 years. That is something I personally never had access to when I was in college. Not to say that I would have taken advantage of it, but sometimes it is nice to have a room to yourself, particularly around midterms or final exams when everyone's busy and has a lot on their plate. Outside of that, we have one-room doubles, we have split-room doubles, suite-style housing, quads, as well as apartment-style housing all on campus. And especially thinking about the first year, we have the Bantam Network residential learning community. So this essentially is grouping students together in residential life halls based on either similarly themed first-year seminars or the same first-year seminar in an effort to really just cultivate relationships and get those conversations going around a common theme or something that you have that is really a shared topic with other folks that you're living with. So students will often say, that making friends, that getting involved are areas of concern or anxiety sometimes, when making that transition to college. So this is really one of many ways that we really try to approach, these worries and try to just help them, create those relationships and friendships early on. When thinking about finding your community at Trinity, it's really easy to get involved, especially because we offer an activities fair at the beginning of each academic year. So this is essentially an opportunity for incoming or first-year students to connect with student representatives from a variety of organizations. So this can be from any of our a cappella groups, from Greek organizations, the Rock Climbing Club, among many others. And it's also a really nice way just to, figure out what's going to fit or work with your schedule, what leadership positions and opportunities might be present in a particular group later on, since many of our students do pursue those over time. In terms of athletics, we have 30 Division III varsity athletic teams. We are a NESCAC school. So what that stands for is that we're in the New England Small College Athletic Conference. We are actually Division I for our squash team, which is very competitive. We have players really from all around the world on our squash team. I personally haven't been able to attend a competition or a game so far, but it is on my list of things to do in the coming academic year. And then thinking a little bit about Hartford. So many students begin exploring Hartford as early as their first semester, if not their first year. Getting around is very easy, especially because we have student government funded shuttles. We have a bus pass that we provide to all students, which really utilizes public transportation in Connecticut, and we can bring a student, 10 minutes to downtown area in Hartford, or even a little bit further away, say to New Haven, where they can then go on and, for example, catch a train to New York City for a day or for a weekend. That's always an option as well. In terms of entertainment opportunities, there are theaters, movie theaters, restaurants, art galleries, museums, festivals of all kinds, as well as semi-professional Hartford athletic teams. We have the Hartford Yard Goats for baseball and the Hartford Wolfpack in terms of hockey. So there's always something to do. I like to say that it's more of a matter of not having enough free time to engage and explore all of these options, as opposed to not having enough things to do in your free time. So that's just about it for the first year here. I promise that the first year is the most information dense. Does anyone happen to have any questions at all about things we've covered or haven't covered yet?
No, not currently. Nothing I can think of.
Oh, okay, awesome. I was about to say I can almost hear the crickets chirping here. Okay, great. So moving right along to the sophomore year. So the focus here, at least in terms of academics, is really around selecting your academic major. And we bring this up in the sophomore year because Trinity students do technically have up until the end of their sophomore year to declare an academic major or a course of study. This is really just rooted firmly in the philosophy that giving students ample time allows them to make a more intentional decision, particularly around a major, a minor, and next steps after college too. Popular majors at Trinity have traditionally been economics, political science, psychology, English, along with public policy and law. We've also seen a considerable amount of growth with our neuroscience program, mostly thanks to our president, President Berger-Sweeney, who has her doctorate in neurotoxicology. So she's done some tremendous work in terms of mentoring students, in terms of providing lectures at the college, and really just growing that program overall. And then we'll also offer a self-design option for students maybe that have interdisciplinary interests. We also have plenty of students double majoring, even triple majoring. Those are definitely options as well if you'd like to pursue them. And they're definitely manageable as long as you're just being intentional with your schedule. We do also have some distribution requirements. So these are often referred to as general education or graduation requirements. At Trinity, what this means is that you'll be asked to take a course in the humanities, in the natural sciences, the social sciences, the fine arts, the numeric and symbolic reasoning, which is essentially just mathematics, foreign language, along with health and wellness. So what's really great about all these is that you can really spread them out amongst your 4 years however you see fit. So while many students will start satisfying these distribution requirements right from the get-go from your first semester, it's completely up to you as to how you sort of satisfy each content area. So something else to mention here is that if you're not a math person, for example, like me, you won't necessarily have to take multivariable calculus, for example. You can instead take a statistics course. Same goes for the fine arts content area. You can take an art history class. You can also take a theater course or photography or drawing class. So the options are really there, and it's completely up to you as to how you can take advantage of them. And then final point here in the sophomore year is Greek life. So at Trinity, we do offer 15 Greek organizations, 7 fraternities, 6 sororities, along with 2 co-ed Greek societies. As a whole, Greek life encompasses right around 22% of our student body. And we bring this up in the sophomore year because we do also have delayed rush. So what this means for you is that students, sophomores and beyond, are allowed to live in Greek housing on campus. First-year students are certainly allowed to attend events. However, they're just not allowed to live in Greek housing, again, based on that first-year seminar and housing program. Okay, so any questions about the sophomore year or things we've covered so far? No? Okay, great. So moving right along to junior year here. So this is typically a time where students explore a little bit. And what I mean by this is that they will pursue internships and study away opportunities as well. Starting things off with internships. So we at Trinity really utilize our urban location. So we have 200 pre-established internship opportunities in the greater Hartford region, which are reserved exclusively for Trinity students. So these will be in sectors such as advertising, such as public service, finance, marketing communications, as well as the nonprofit sector. Students can have part or full-time internships for academic credit all during the academic year, while they're living on campus. So it's certainly not something that takes place, in the summer months or in periods of time, or really breaks from the irregular academic year. The Center for Student Success and Career Development also does some fantastic work in terms of preparing for students for these opportunities. So they'll do some resume and cover letter review workshops. They'll also offer some mock interview trainings, one-on-one career advising appointments with students to explore your goals and your plans for the future. And also connections with our alumni network. So that's, in my opinion, one of the huge benefits of attending a small institution is that you'll be able to start establishing those relationships and creating those networks much earlier on. And I think, getting involved with the work that the Center for Student Success and Career Development does, early on, as early as even your first semester, is something that can only benefit you, since you won't be trying to play catch up, if you otherwise leave that until your junior or senior year. Then thinking a little bit about study away or study abroad. So approximately 60% of Trinity students study away. While this typically takes place in the junior year or around junior year, students aren't limited to that time. You can also technically study away for up to 3 semesters, starting with the spring of your sophomore year. In terms of the timing of these programs, we offer semester-long, year-long, 3 to 5 week summer programs, as well as a January term program as well. In terms of location, we have a number of options to choose from. So first and foremost really is our Rome campus in the Aventine Hill area. So we own that land and it's fully staffed by Trinity faculty and professors. It will essentially most closely mirror your Trinity experience that you would receive here in Hartford. Outside of our Rome campus, we also have some affiliate or Trinity in programs where Trinity doesn't necessarily own the land in these locations or cities, but the program's still fully staffed by Trinity personnel. So these cities and programs are located in Vienna, Austria, Shanghai, China, Paris, France, and many others. Then finally, we have some pre-approved programs. So this includes over 90 existing programs that are essentially conducted in coordination with a local college or university. This can be in Sub-Saharan Africa, it can be across Europe, in South America, the Middle East, and North Africa as well. Then for students that may want to explore a little bit closer to home, we also have some domestic offerings. So we are a member of the 12 College Exchange Program, along with institutions such as Dartmouth, Mount Holyoke, Smith, Vassar, Wellesley, Wheaton, and Williams. So what's great about this is that you can spend, say, a semester studying at any of these other institutions and have the credits transferred back to us seamlessly. And regardless of what you're looking at in terms of study away opportunities, financial aid will travel with you. So we certainly don't want that to be a barrier as you consider these study away opportunities. Okay, so does anyone have any questions at all about the junior year before we wrap things up with the final year here?
Oh wait, do you have a marketing major? 'Cause I don't think I can find on it. Oh yeah.
Yep. So the closest that I think you can get to that would be economics. Many students that have an interest in business, often pursue economics. I think that what's really great too is, as I mentioned earlier, we also have that self-design option. So you can oftentimes work with faculty to design some materials or even coursework around a particular topic that you're interested in. I think I would also want to defer to some of our students that we have on here just to hear a little bit about their experience with that. But I think we'll have some time for that relatively soon. Okay, so wrapping up here with the senior year. So thinking about academics in your senior year, this really is going to be focused around your thesis, your capstone project, or a senior seminar, which you'll have to complete in your particular academic major. So this can be a 30 to 40 page paper. It can also be, something such as developing a Netflix series, which we had a recent graduate do as well. It's also a period of time where your relationships with faculty and professors really transform from a student instructor kind of relationship to more of a colleague to colleague interaction, where you'll be able to turn to these folks, for advice, for letters of recommendation, any kind of guidance or mentorship that you might be looking for as you prepare for the future. This is also a period of time where many students take advantage, if they haven't already, of programs such as Bantams and Beyond, which again is offered by our Center for Student Success and Career Development. These programs can assist you, as you think about how to network, how to negotiate your first salary, apply to graduate school, or even just articulate the value of the liberal arts education that you've received. We do also have some graduate offerings at the college as well. We do currently offer 3 master's degree programs. So these are in American Studies, English, and Public Policy. And we do also have, in addition to those, an accelerated 5-year BSMA or BA-MA program for neuroscience and American Studies, respectively. So that just about wraps things up in terms of that year-by-year overview. I still have a little bit of information I can share around our admissions process. Not sure if we'll have enough time to cover everything. We can also hold off on that and jump into things a little bit during the Q&A later on. Does anyone have any questions, at least right now, before we sort of move along to our next session this afternoon? Okay, quiet group today. That's okay. Okay, I will wait just a second here for Corey to get back in, and then we'll continue on.
Sebastian, I'm here.
Oh, great. Oh, okay, perfect. So I'm not sure, did you have any prepared questions for the Q&A? It looks like for the next 10 minutes or so, we're going to be doing Q&A. Is that correct?
Yeah, so that was more so specifically for the students to ask, but if they don't have any questions, we can move on to the next part.
Okay, yeah, that works too. Yeah, so are we looking at the student panel in that case then?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. I also have, I believe it's the 3 students that I asked to join us today as well. They've done some work with our office, especially with some of the programming that we've been putting together recently. So they'll be jumping in approximately 3:10 or so. Wasn't sure how things would play out with timing, but they'll be in soon.
Okay, awesome. I'll give them maybe like 2 minutes, and then we'll start the student panel with Dion and Cameron.
Sure. Corey, if you don't mind my asking, how long have you worked with College Aim?
Oh, brand new.
Oh,
So,
nice. Okay.
yeah, I actually started with College Aim, I think it was 2 months ago. So
Cool. Okay.
it's a great transition.
Sure.
It's something I've been doing for 15 years, so I'm used to it.
Okay. Nice. Did you work on the other side of the desk prior to your position, or what's your background?
So I started out college counseling. I was director of college counseling at KIPP Atlanta Collegiate High School. So I was at KIPP for 13 years. And then I went and worked in the district office for Atlanta Public Schools, did some college access work there, and then now I'm here at College Aim.
Okay. Great. Yeah, that's fantastic. Um, yeah, I interacted primarily with Sam in my work with College Aim. I first met Sam, I think it was last fall actually, when I attended the Atlanta conference. Very well attended. I was very impressed with the programming, with, the fair towards the end. And yeah, I mean, where even though it's going to be in a virtual format this time around, I still think it's going to be great. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Yeah, we wish we were in person, but we can do it. We have to work with what we have.
Sure.
Yeah. All righty. So we're going to go ahead and get started on our student panel. This is pretty much an opportunity for our College Aim students to hear from students that were once in your seat, in your position, and to really kind of ask them a couple of questions just about what it is to be a student on the campus of Trinity College. So today we have Dion and Cameron, who are actually, of course, former College Aim students. So I will allow them to first start off by introducing themselves, just saying your name, where you're from, your major, and that's pretty much about it. So we'll start off with that. So either one of you go first.
I'll definitely start off. I want to I thank Corey for setting this up, even though this is a time which is very different in a sense of like how the interaction and like what a school you might want to go to is like, but we're gonna make it work. Um, I know a couple, well, most of the students that are in this call, so I'm gonna make it too personal, but um, here we go. My name is Jan Kelly. I am from Atlanta, Georgia. I intend on double majoring in sociology and women and gender studies with a minor in community action with a concentration in feminism and women empowerment. A fun fact about me, I love to sing and dance. My involvement on campus includes being the Men of Color Alliance Community Relations Chair, the Gospel Choir President, Masculinity Project co-coordinator. I volunteer at the Cool, which is a thrift store on campus. I work at the Center for Student Success and Career Development. Um, I'm a Pride leader, which stands for Promoting Respect, Inclusive Diversity, and Education. And I work very closely with the Emoji Coalition, that is a group or like kind of like a collision of groups on campus that work towards improving the cultural climate on campus and the Black identified experience. Um, yeah, that's pretty much about me that I can think of so far. So yeah.
You're a busy guy. That's awesome. Thank you. Cameron?
How you guys doing? My name is Cameron Madison. And I'm also from Atlanta, Georgia. I plan on majoring in sociology. And fun fact about me, I'm a McNair alumni, but I also did go to Towers and I went to Cedar Grove. Another fun fact about me, I actually love taking pictures, but not of people, like more like buildings. I like street photography. I love film, creating different videos. My involvement on campus is a little bit more simpler. I'm a boxing club. I'm an office assistant for sale. And I work at a church called Union Baptist, serving food. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Thank you. So I have a little maybe like 7 or 8 questions that I'm just going to ask you. And again, feel free to be as honest and candid as possible with the kids because they need to know your experiences at Trinity. So I guess the first question to both of you is, why did you decide to choose Trinity College out of all of the schools that you were accepted to? What stood out to Trinity? Why Trinity?
I mean,
I was like,
I feel like every person on campus is gonna say the money. Money at Trinity is right. They definitely is not shy to hand a check out. So the money was nice when I came here.
Okay.
To give a more elaborative answer, hopefully, um, money was an aspect, but for me personally, I just liked how for me personally, Trinity gave me that feeling of like, oh, we're about the student rather than we're about your test scores and what you did, but rather the impact in what you were doing, whether it's like multiple clubs or just that one. It's just the impact and the kind of formality it had on you as a student. Because I remember coming here on a college game visit, and for a PWI, I was just like, I didn't know really what to expect because, mind you, it's a culture shock. I've never been around so many white folks in my life at all. So it was just like, I don't know how to navigate. But Trinity is definitely an environment that's very inclusive and opening and supportive. And there's so much and so many opportunities that the school does offer. So while I chose Trinity, just for that reason, it saw me as a student rather than just another applicant.
Awesome. I think we had 2 more of your peers to actually join the call. I see Tiana Sharp and Adam. Would you like to take this opportunity to introduce yourselves to the group? Just start off by telling them your name, where you're from, your major classification.
Hi, my name is Tiana Sharp. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I am a human rights and Hispanic studies major. And then I'm also a part of the multicultural recruitment team. And I am the founder and president of Nest Artists, which is kind of an artistic collective on campus.
Okay.
I'm Adam Minahan. I am from Keene, New Hampshire. I am a biomedical engineering and mathematics major with a minor in film studies. I am also on the multicultural recruitment team with Tiana. Other than that, on campus, I'm a part of Barnyard, which is our student activities commission. They organize major student activities on campus, and I'm also on the club soccer team as well.
Awesome. So I'll ask you the same question that I asked Dion and Cameron. Why Trinity College? What made you go to Trinity, or choose Trinity?
So I'm a Posse scholar. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the program, but I was offered 12 schools, and Trinity really stuck out to me because of the human rights program. I used to debate in high school, so human rights have always really been really important to me. So that really stuck out to me. And then also being from Chicago, I didn't want to go to school in the cornfields or some small town. So I kind of wanted the city feel that kind of felt like home, and then a small school just so I can feel comfortable and really get to know my professors. So Trinity ended up being the perfect fit for me.
Awesome.
Kind of a similar experience to Tiana. I was also from a small area in New Hampshire. I wasn't really looking for a major big school or anything like that. And Trinity definitely stuck out to me as having a much smaller community, much more tight-knit, especially with the professors. Being the hardcore STEM major that I'm a part of, I definitely wanted to have a much more intimate experience with my professors and be able to interact with them at a deeper level, just to make sure I could understand what they were teaching me in the first place. And on top of that, I also am a part of a scholar program on here. I'm a part of the class of 1963 scholarship program here. That's a merit-based scholarship, and they sent me that around May of before going into freshman year. And they were an incredible group, and they've been incredible to me, and in major swayed my decision to come to Trinity as well. But the community and the strong academics for being a liberal arts school and a STEM major, that was a big tipping point for me to decide to come to Trinity.
Awesome. So can you talk a little bit about, and this is to everyone, all the students, can you talk about a little, what was the biggest hurdle that you faced when you made that transition from high school to college?
That's a really good question. I think the biggest hurdle I faced was finding my place on Trinity. I come from a single parent home. I'm an only child, or well, I was raised an only child. So I'm very used to like my small family, my close knit family. So coming to Trinity, I was really worried about being homesick and, you know, not fitting in and not finding kind of my place. And it was something that kind of fell naturally. And I just had to kind of put myself out there, you know, go to events because there's going to be people on campus that are going to welcome you. They're going to be there, going to be your support system. So it was kind of, you know, pushing yourself out there and having the confidence of introducing yourself first, or, you know, seeing somebody that actually interests you and being like, hey, I want to be your friend. And that's so many friendships where I've started where I've just kind of been like, hey, I think you're a really cool person. And it really helped me kind of adjust to college.
Okay.
Just kind of adding to what Tiana said in the sense of kind of finding your niche on campus. Also in the sense, as I was referring to earlier, in the sense of a culture shock, because I come from a predominantly Black neighborhood. Like I said, never been surrounded by so many white folks in my life. So coming to Trinity was definitely an experience of that, and it's just you sometimes, like Tiana said, you sometimes, in a sense, like you feel like your identity is lost because it's not as generic as everybody else's, or it's not as standard as they call it as everybody else's. So you have to find those group of people that kind of match what you're trying to do to like navigate through that experience. And also the rigor too, because like I said, like back in my high school, because I went to Towers, um, we really didn't have as much access to so much knowledge, so many books, so many programs, opportunities, and Trinity is put all that on like a wider scale. So it was just like so many resources, but how will I be able, like I say again, to navigate towards those or know which particular one I need to go to?
I'll add that it might even sound a little naive, but being able to like manage a schedule or like have that freedom to manage a schedule now, that was a pretty big hurdle for me because um, I mean, you're not really used to just having all this freedom like in an instant. And for me, it was tough to really manage myself without like overbooking myself or underdoing myself, even with classes and all the homework that I had. Um, I found it tough to adjust to that new lifestyle. And it's not going to, you know, harden you down to the end. It takes a little bit of adjustment, but you get used to it. But it's a pretty big hurdle that you first have to get over. And really just meant sticking to myself, figuring out what I needed personally, and now not I was going to drown myself in the end. I just needed a lot of practice, just getting used to my schedule, filling the gaps where I thought I could fill them with what interested me, and not just filling it for the sake of filling it to make myself feel busier. That was definitely the toughest adjustment for me. But really, after a month or two, I found what I liked. I enjoyed my classes, and I just had a routine down and ready to go every day. And it made life so much easier. But that was definitely like the first big hurdle I can think of when I first came to Trinity.
Okay.
I agree with all three of them so far, but I feel like my biggest hurdle was honestly, it really didn't involve the school. It was really just me getting out my high school mindset, because a lot of things that work in high school will not work in college. Like taking 2 college classes is like nothing compared to high school. In high school, you can do about 30 classes, 15 extracurricular activities, and you still have a lot of energy. In college, like once you have like 4 classes, you be ready. You just have no time. Like time management is real, but like also, yeah, it's just a big shift from high school. Like in high school, you don't really have to talk to your professor when you're like almost like not having a class. You realize you just it's on you. You got to buckle down, do the work. In college, you're not communicating with your professor. It's almost like a big deal. Or attendance definitely matters. It's like the whole college setup is really different from high school, and like you can almost get away with doing certain things in high school, like studying the next day for the test, or even like not preparing or studying for the final or midterm. And in college, that's like it's just very different than high school. So I think the biggest problem for me I had was getting out of my high school mindset and shaping myself for the college mindset.
Thank you. I think we have one more student that just joined. Stephen, would you like to introduce yourself to the college aim community and just say, you know, where you're from, your classification, and your major?
Yeah, so first I'd like to apologize. I just got out of class, so I'm sorry that I'm late. But yes, my name is Stephen Ramsden. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. And my major or projected major, because I'm a sophomore, so they give us till the spring to fully decide. But my projected major is going to be urban studies because I love the course and I think it's going to help me project my goals later on in life. What was the other question you told me? I'm sorry.
That was pretty much a classification major. That's it. All right, good stuff. So next question to the group. Do you feel like Trinity is preparing you for your next step in life, academically, socially? Do you feel like they are doing that?
I can take this question because, I came late, so I'll do it. Personally, for me, I think Trinity's doing a great job. I mean, my freshman year till now, it was definitely very difficult to adapt to a PWI, so a predominantly white institute. So not seeing people that look like you commonly was difficult at first, but yet the community is very welcoming, and you do have kids like Dion, like Cam, like Tiana, like Adam, who put themselves out there and make it a welcoming, home feeling for me and for other students as well. But then my advisor is a great person. I have her number, so we FaceTime like constantly. I just got off the phone with her this morning talking about this and stuff like that. So we have a very, very tight connection, and that helps me build trust not only with the staff and faculty, but within the campus too, because I personally believe that they want to see me succeed. And I have other outlets as well, such as MRT, where I work at Multicultural Recruitment Team. There's a group of students and faculty that really want to see us succeed and do well, and puts us in, in these groups and environments where we're challenged, but yet we know how to adapt and do better in the end.
Thank you.
For me, just the critical thinking skills. I feel I am such a different person than my senior year in high school. Just because the conversations I've had, a lot of my courses, and particularly in a liberal arts college, are discussion based. So it's really based off of student experience, personal thoughts, and you get to talk about it in class and go through it. So we have students internationally, domestically, from across the globe or across the country that come in with all these experiences and knowledge, and you just get to sit in a classroom for a couple hours and just talk. And so just the amount of thoughts I have and the way I think is completely different, and I think it definitely prepares me for the future in terms of like my problem solving skills and just the way I can communicate with other people and kind of find that common ground.
I won't lie, when I first came in, I was a little doubtful being a STEM major coming into a predominantly liberal arts college. But the moment I got here, I knew I was going to be totally okay. The professors here, all of them want to see you succeed no matter what you are concentrating in, no matter what you are studying. They want to see you go on and do well in life and contribute back to what you have given to the college and contribute back to the world. They all have that same sentiment. So going into no matter what you're doing, they all want to see that growth. And just by talking with them, you already establish some really good connections for the future. And on top of that, through my scholarship program and through the Center for Student Success and Career Development, all these different organizations on campus are meant for the students, and it doesn't matter what you're going into. They're just simply there as a body for the students to achieve. And through those contacts I've already established as early as sophomore year, I have multiple routes that I possibly could go down. So without a doubt, I think Trinity has definitely set me up for success in the future. No matter what I decide to go into, I think I will feel happy and satisfied with the outcome of what Trinity provides with me.
I agree. I feel like Trinity is definitely like setting me up for success in the future, mainly because I feel like Trinity put like a big emphasis on, I'm just gonna use the word teamwork, but not necessarily like, they make it known that you really need other people to succeed or get where you want to go. And I say this because they really present you like a lot of opportunities. Like in classes, you might have group discussions with people in your class, or you might constantly be elaborating on, you know what I'm saying, coursework, whether it's people in your class, or you might be talking to people in, like you said, the Student Success Center about what you want to do, about internships. And I feel like that's really good because like once you get out of college and get like in the real world, you really need other people like to help you get where you need to go. So I think that Trinity like really set me up for success because I feel like in high school like you don't really, I mean you need other people, but it's not as much as you need people in, like in the real world. But I feel like it's also not about what you know, but who you know. And if you know the right people, you can definitely get where you want to go.
Um, I'm trying not to be goofy, but Trinity, it does prepare you. What I will say is the allocate because it's so okay. I'm gonna say this. There's so many resources on Trinity campus, whether it's just about career opportunities, club interest, mentorship, and et cetera, et cetera. It has literally everything you can imagine, right? But what the issue is, I feel like personally, to kind of stir the conversation, is a sense of how they allocate those resources. Because it was a lot of stuff that they did not mention to us, well, me personally, that could have probably helped me, like a book voucher for books and stuff like that in the sense of financial aid, certain programs that could help for liberal arts majors. It's just, they really lack the advertisement of allocating those resources. And as a student, you can basically be like, hey, where is this? Where is that? And allow yourself to like in a sense of checking them too, because it's just like nobody's perfect and then doing all they can. We appreciate Trinity very much, but it's always room for improvement. But to go back to the question, it does prepare.
Thank you. So that's a perfect segue into the next question. What would you change about Trinity, and what would you keep unchanged?
Um,
I'm gonna go last.
this one. What would I change about Trinity? You know, not everything is perfect. You know, everywhere you go, not everything is gonna fit your needs. It's not gonna fit what you really want, but it's how you make it. You know, but one thing I definitely would like to see at Trinity is the more multicultural orgs on campus. You know, being here in college, this is my first opening to like fraternities and sororities. You know, like this is my first time understanding Greek letters and what they mean, because when you see it in movies, you're like, oh, what is that? But being on campus and seeing it in your face, you know, it's really cool. But not seeing like multicultural orgs here, that's what really hurts, because when you see different schools, you know, they have deltas, alphas, LTAs, you know, all these beautiful organizations. But Trinity is, you know, we only have two, you know. So seeing some improvement in that would be great, because I feel like it allows students to know that there's an endless resource of, you know, connections and cultures that they can dive into, you know, not just being an academic or being in sports or being in clubs. You know, I feel like, you know, these organizations and extended family from some students, such as myself.
Good. Which two does Trinity have?
We have LAU and we have LPIU. And LAU is Latino America Unidas, and that's a multicultural org. And that's the fraternity, and the sorority is LPIU.
Gotcha. Thank
For me, I think the one thing I would change about Trinity will kind of be the outreach to students. I think well, the school does reach out to students. I think the Trinity kind of reached out to students after there's been a complaint about something. So like they've made task force for certain things, but it's after students have said something in the first place in order for it to happen. I think, you know, before waiting for an event, that we should just kind of consult with students primarily, just, you know, trying to just get some insight, especially when they're making policy changes, because there was times during COVID where they were making policy changes that actually worsened the student experience. So I think having students in the room at all times versus like when things go wrong, then to fix it, I think would, you know, save a lot of trouble and make the college experience better. And I think I would keep about Trinity is how engaged the professors are. Trinity makes it so that the professors can have office hours, that they're not overworked to the point where, you know, they don't feel the need to connect with students. So a lot of my professors have reached out to me, made sure that I was okay, you know, even invited me to dinners at their house just to make sure that I was comfortable. So I think continuing that, because that's what makes the college meaningful. Like you know, the teachers I had in high school, I don't really remember except for the ones that truly made an impact on me, and I still talk to them to this day. So there's something, you know, powerful about having a professor or a teacher that is a mentor for you for life, you know.
I will say that I can probably answer both questions with the same answer. I'd probably say the community. I would change it in the sense that I'd probably agree with everyone here that I come from New Hampshire, which obviously is not the most diverse state in this entire country. When I came to campus, I didn't really feel any different from back home as it was to here. I was surrounded by a lot of like white people. That's really what it was. And I just thought that isn't really reflective of what the real world provides to us. And I think that, especially I think Tiana and Stephen can agree with me on this, working in admissions, there's something that we can definitely do about that as a student body. But on top of that, it's much more on the administration and the admissions department as a whole to really dedicate to diversifying the community as it is reflective of the world these kids are going to go into. And unfortunately, I think it creates a stigma on campus of this kind of microcosm that you think is reflective of the whole world when it really is not. And it's not really allowing students to grow to the full potential of a well-rounded, educated person going into the world. That being said, however, the community itself is tight-knit and small enough where everyone is welcoming in that same aspect. And again, it's one of the reasons why I chose the school in the first place, being the small school environment, having the intimate connections you can develop with these people, and finding the right people and the right people that are to be there for you, including professors and students alike. That's incredible. You don't really get that out of a lot of schools across the country. And it was one of the major reasons why I came to the school in the first place. So I think it's kind of a weird, like, double answer to those two questions. But there's definitely room for improvement. But again, it's one of the main reasons why I came to the school in the first place.
I agree with everybody else. I feel like representation of like minorities is not like the best at Trinity, but it's trying. But I don't even know how you change the problem I have with Trinity. I think I'll just add more hospitality to it. But honestly, I don't even know how you do that here. But I feel like once people find a group of friends, they kind of like put themselves in that, I don't say box, but almost like a box. And you'll see like almost football players hang with football players, cross players hang with cross players, blacks hang with the blacks, or even like just like African Americans hang with African Americans and Latino Americans and Asian Americans, but the Africans hanging by themselves, like the Asians hanging by themselves. And like I guess I'll make it where it's more like we're more mixed in, I guess. I'm more open to each other. I don't know the word, but yeah, that's why I changed my Trinity.
Trying not to be goofy, y'all. I'm sorry. It's just like just said that. I was like, okay, let me focus. But encompassing what everybody else have discussed thus far, personally, it may seem very vague, not vague, but in the sense of like simple of what my answer will be or response will be, but at the same time, it makes sense. The intersectionality and the intentions of Trinity's missions and goals. I say that because Trinity is that institution that offers so much and tries so much with being inclusive, tries so much to be that community based and everything else for the students. The problem is, as people were saying, it's just when, like Tiana was saying, like after the fact, oh, now we're gonna say something. Initially, your attention should have been like clear in the sense of like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. If you need us, let us know. Being held to your word, being held accountable. I'll say that. Being held accountable type thing, type deal with that. And in the sense of intersectionality, most stuff on campus, especially academics, is constructed to this binary of just like one way of thinking rather than being open to all perspectives, especially from people of color that have those different backgrounds and different perspectives that are important and eye-opening. Um, but I will say something I would change is just like truly letting their intentions be known and the intersectionality on campus.
Awesome. Thank you. So I promise that was the hardest question. um, I guess my next question is, what do you do for fun? What are your weekends like?
Um, I wish you would have asked this last year and not this year during the COVID season. But
Right.
honestly, all right. So if there wasn't, a pandemic and everything, Trinity would be fun. Like we would have, get-togethers. It would be parties. Just like any other college, just like any other college. Just hang out with your friends and have a good time. But now that you're in a pandemic, it's a lot harder to do that. But it makes it more creative in a sense. So with me, what I do is sometimes we'll do Netflix parties, if I'm feeling in the need to watch a movie. Or if anything, we'll just go out to eat, but order that food by going out to eat. By going out to eat, we order the food into campus because we're not allowed to leave campus. So just really that. And I don't know, just exploring campus. I've been taking walks around campus. So like seeing different parts of campus, living on the other side of campus is just, you can't really do much, but just really try to do the best that you can here. Well, that's what I do. I can't speak for everybody else.
Okay, I'll talk from last year because last year is, hopefully y'all get to experience what last year was. But first off is bingo. It sounds lame, but bingo at Trinity is the best. It's how I furnished my dorm. There's free prizes. Yeah, bingo is it. Bingo, karaoke, that's the go-tos. And then it is also like going to Vernon Social. That's kind of like, people play music. My friend used to work at Vernon Social, so he would lower the screen down. We'd watch movies. And then of course, we have different events. And then now it's kind of chiller. So it's a lot more like crafts type of thing. I paint, so I typically do commissions over the weekends, or I paint with my friends, do live art showings. Thank you, Stephen. And then just, of course, Netflix party, FaceTime with my friends. Now we're kind of allowed to go outside and meet on the quad. So sometimes we'll have like dinner on the quad, having like, little order out and then just eat it on the quad. We played like chess on the quad the other day. So it's kind of having like really intimate moments with your friends. And you're still making memories this year. So don't think that like, oh, it's going to be horrible coming to school. It's still very fun. You're still making like really intimate relationships, and I think even getting closer because we have to hang out in such small groups that you're really getting to know the people that you kind of encountered last year.
So yeah, obviously it's kind of a tough perspective to take either through this year or last year comparatively. But I'll just say that if I'm not doing homework in the library on the weekend, which is typically where I am spending a lot of my time, a couple clubs and organizations I'm a part of usually sometimes do meetings throughout the week, but sometimes they do fun events on the weekends, so clubs and organizations would get together. Club soccer team usually has games or practices on the weekends, so we go hang out, kick a ball around, play some scrimmage, so that's always great. Other organizations like Barnyard that I'm in, they sometimes have little get-togethers in upperclassmen dorms over across campus, which are usually a little bit bigger than the underclassmen dorms, so those are always great to hang out in. I will add that Trivia Night is another popular event that occurs on campus in Vernon Social. Trivia Night, basically, you can show up with whoever you want. You can be a team of one or team of however many you want to be. And it's just Trivia Night. You go through rounds and rounds, and they give out really insane prizes, actually. You can really do some crazy stuff with the prizes they give out. So I always usually go to that on Thursday nights. I think it's virtual this year, obviously. But that was also a fun event on Thursdays and throughout the weekends. And I'll also add that college is college. You can expect partying and stuff to occur, but I think the college does do a lot to go out of their way if you don't want to go do those events on the weekends. They have plenty of stuff available for you to participate in on campus and throughout Hartford. I know all of the nests, which you'll be siphoned off into if you come freshman year. They do events every weekend. Your nest leader will have an event or some event organized. Sometimes it's a movie theater, museum trip, other escapades into Hartford. They usually have stuff ready to go that you can just sign up for and go, and it's just ready for you there. So I will say there's plenty of options for you to fulfill depending on how you want your weekend social life experience to go. I think there's a lot of routes for you to take in that sense.
What do we do for fun? So since we're speaking from last year, definitely the sale events that everyone has referred to, whether it's karaoke, bingo, even though some people be cheating. Um, like there's this one group, but we ain't gonna get to that. Trivia, sale events definitely from South. They really hold it down, really do slap. We used to have um, fashion shows. So I would model. I modeled last year in the Tulsa fashion show on this Trinity African Student Association. It was really nice, really dope experience. Um, I sing a lot, like these four people can tell you. I sing a lot. I'm part of an acapella group on campus as well as gospel choir, as I mentioned earlier. So I really love to sing. That's something that's a part of me, of my essence. A lot of people don't know about me, I do praise dance. I've been praise dancing for 2+ years. I haven't done it recently, but I want to get back to it. And also to relate to right now, I still sing a lot. And also I just binge watch a lot of shows, whether it's on Netflix and binge watch on YouTube. And right now I just been watching a lot of singing videos, Chloe and Halle being the main people. Like, he's so fire. But yes, me.
Before like COVID, like COVID on campus was actually lit. Like campus was fire. And, like they're not putting enough emphasis on that karaoke night. I used to whoop Dion and every little battle we used to go at. Like I used to do Michael Jackson. He used to do like a little, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, Anthony Hamilton or whatever. I used to murder Dion in karaoke. Like that was a place I was at every night because I'm not a big partier and none of my friends really are. So like that was me and Dion's spot. Vernon Social, you know what I'm saying? About 8 o'clock, I'll be out there whooping Dion, you know what I'm saying? And like campus the spot, like you gotta catch people on the quad. Like your friends will be everywhere from like the quad, the main quad, the quad outside, MECC, karaoke, bingo. And people do be cheating bingo. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like that. But also like you can get paid by doing some of these events too. That was like the most latest part. Like you can be running karaoke and getting paid to sing, like do event support. I think that was like the most latest part. And I'm not getting paid to entertain myself. Like it doesn't get no better than that. But now it was a little bit more chiller. So I'm not like facing on my friends checking up on them or they checking up on me. I'm in my room. I got like a little light, a little small speaker. So I'm in here playing music, vibing with myself. Taking a walk is definitely relaxing, like Steve said, because like it's just beautiful. It looks beautiful around campus on the outside. I'm either like chilling outside, running, watching people like work out or just going about their daily lives. So yeah, I mean, it's still things to do on campus. You just gotta search, and a lot of things are virtual, so that's still pretty cool. So yeah.
I'm gonna just add. I'm sorry. I'm just add something real quick. In a sense of like being fun. It's just creativity is really important now because it's just like you have these secular things of way to have fun. Partying, just being in community with other folks in person. But since you can't really do that now, you just have to find a way to be creative. So that's thing number one. And two, Cameron's lying about whooping me in karaoke. I just want to put that out there because all that was cap, all of it. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so I won an Amazon gift card and he didn't. He's mad ever since.
What? No. I'm gonna keep it professional.
All right. My final question to the group is how is Hartford, the surrounding community, and do you feel like it's friendly to and welcoming to Trinity College students?
Like I said earlier, I'm from Boston, so Hartford is kind of like Boston in a sense. So being here, I feel just like at home, especially in this area too, because it's predominantly like Latin American, Hispanics and all of that. So I'm Puerto Rican, Dominican, and Black. So I just feel like I'm at my aunt's crib all the time. So honestly, it's great, And I understand from people like being away from home and not being Hispanic and not being part of the Latin culture, how scary and nerve-wracking it can be. But honestly, the community is great. Like last year, I worked at a school called the Mullen School down the street, and every day I walked, not every day, every Wednesday and Thursday when I walked down there, I met someone new every time, and they were welcoming. You know, they were saying how my day was. You know, they noticed I went to Trinity because I'm not from here, so you know we stick out like sore thumbs. But they're not like preying on Trinity students. You know, they're actually very welcoming. You know, I learned something about Connecticut almost every day, so it's really great being out here, and I feel like I'm at home most of the time. So it's very comfortable for me.
So I'm from Chicago. So coming to, it's actually pretty funny because my family's kind of perception of Connecticut is very like uppity and like I'm gonna get served caviar when I'm walking down the street type of thing. And granted, you're gonna find bougie areas of Connecticut that's like that, but Hartford is full of so much culture and like flavor, and the food, phenomenal. You gotta go out, you gotta try out the food. It's authentic, it's real. They're gonna put you onto a lot of stuff that you're gonna bring back home and really impress everybody. But Hartford is so loving. It's, you know, it's like any city. So you do have to be smart about what you're doing, but you're gonna meet more genuine people than you are gonna meet finessers. But it's important that you know, kind of be smart. But Hartford has so much opportunities from like just academically, all the internships and all the shadowing, and the fact that you can email somebody and the next day they're like, oh yeah, come down, take the bus, come down and come see us. It's amazing. And I think on top of that, it's just all the events. We have different parades. You know, there's this big festival. I'm forgetting the name of it, but it's like a puppet festival. It's really weird. Like it sounds strange, but it's like there's like full dancers and performances, and it's like at night. It's super cool. The lights are awesome. So there's a lot to do in Hartford, and it makes it quite a memorable city. And then also just, you know, we have so many ways to get off of campus that it's really hard to avoid Hartford. Like not only is most things in walking distance from school, but we also have Zipcar, we have the free bus passes. You can also have a shuttle. So like getting out and going to Hartford is so important.
Excuse me. Yeah, I came from Keene, New Hampshire, which is a town of, I think it's now 25,000 people. So Hartford wasn't a major jump for me, but definitely was a big step up for me from what I'm used to. And I think my major thing about it was when I talk to people about Hartford, most people that have the most positive experiences with Hartford are people who directly interacted with the community right outside Hartford. I really don't think you can get the full Trinity experience if you don't interact with the community directly outside the gates of Hartford. I think you're limiting yourself to a maximum degree if you're not doing that. And I have yet to really do that for myself, and I'm hoping to do that more in the future because I think I might have wasted a massive opportunity if I don't do that. And I know the resources and opportunities are there for campus. Center for Student Success and Career Development, along with the Nest and all that, they give you the opportunities to be able to go out into Hartford and do what you want to do and contribute. And I'll also echo Tiana, the food is incredible. Like actually some of the most incredible food I've had in my entire life. I come from a very like bad palate up in New Hampshire. Like we have the worst like food palates. It's just like gross New England food. I don't even know how to describe it. But Hartford has some of the best food I've ever had in my entire life.
I love Hartford. Like at first, I'm not even gonna lie, I was a little hater because you know what I'm saying, you coming from Atlanta, you used to hospitality, people speaking to you walking down the street, you used to some fire chicken wings, you used to the Waffle House. You like, and you come up here, you like, well, the spot said they ain't got no chicken wing joint. I mean, they got chicken wing joints, but I don't be hitting like back home. And like, I spoke to somebody walking down the street, and all my friends looked at me like I was crazy. They're like, why you talking to them? Like, what you supposed to do? Like, they walking past, you supposed to say what's up. They just looked at me like I was crazy. But once I got like used to like the vibe, the food, like, oh my God, I went to like this place called El Sarabe, and like we got like Latinos and stuff back home, but the area I'm in is like predominantly African American. So if it's like a Mexican spot, it's really not a Mexican spot. Up here, I had some like nachos, and like the like cilantro was real, and like it was hitting differently, and like it was really good. But I would also say like back to Stephen's point, I feel like whoever you like, depending on who you ask, depending on like what answer you get, because I feel like me being a man and me being a man of color, like I am black, me going out in the community, I don't really get no attention 'cause I'm not different. That makes sense. Like to me, like for me, I'm just another person walking down the street. Like I feel like many people from Trinity see me and they think like I'm a Hartford local because like me and the community don't really stand out. I think for some people, like whether you're like a woman or are white, your experience might be a little different because you probably would stand out in the community. But no, for me, it'd be lit though. I love going downtown, looking at different statues. They got a riverfront. I love going to the riverfront just to like watch the water a little bit. You know what I'm saying? A little algae. They got a place called Bears downtown. It's like UConn campus. You know what I'm saying? People there are very nice. The food, smack. So yeah, it's a lot of things that do in Hartford. They got a lot of festivals going on. I want to say LGBT festival. And honestly, like I didn't know what to expect because it was like me, my first time like stepping out my comfort zone. Like, but it was lit, man. People were like friendly. People were dancing. They had me dancing a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I don't really dance, but I was bopping, I was moving, I was grooving. Like down in Vernon, you might have like a little band playing, people out there break dancing. You might come outside, you're like, hold on, I'm having a bad day, but they out here jamming, you know what I'm saying? Let me get my little 1-2 step in. You feel me? So like, I love Hartford, bro. Like, if somebody say something about Hartford, they hate it.
That's honest. Good.
I'm sorry, someone was looking at me and I was about to say something. Anyway, um, for Hartford, I'm gonna say like this first, and then in my opinion, the stigma or like the sense of a stereotype of Hartford that is dangerous. And I kind of don't like that because they assume because they're like Tiana saying there's so much culture within the area, it's just going to be a sense of uh, a disruption or a sense of like abnormality or something like that, which is crazy to me. And I can relate to Hartford because in Atlanta, it's the same thing. They think of Atlanta as just that hotspot. It's like, oh, all y'all got is music and y'all got all this crime rates and stuff going on, da da da, and it just shows you like, going back to Stephen's point, like for cities, I feel like personally for me, cities in general, they connect in some way, shape, or form. They're like all similar. There's nothing really different because for Hartford and Atlanta, it's just in a sense of a struggle to kind of be accepted by societal standards because of the culture that we present or represent, right? So I just hate that stigma of Hartford, but there are some people, well, everybody really, mostly everybody, that are advocates for for the Hartford community because it is something that is just like not even a sense of culture, but also just opportunities and people that you meet. So just putting that out there first. But I love Hartford as well. I feel like personally, if y'all were to go to Trinity, when y'all ever get a chance on y'all downtime, just go like you use the bus pass or go to Zip Car with one of your friends and just view Hartford because you'll see a bunch of new things, a bunch of new stuff and everything. It's just like just explore it. You'll be very surprised whether it's food spots, um, justice centers, human rights centers. It's just so much. And if you're not able to do that, there is a community action lab in Hartford where most of our community actions minor go to for their classes. So that's like a gateway for that community interaction with Hartford. Yeah, Hartford is really one in a million, I would say, because it's relatable to where I come from and more. Um, yeah, that's all I have to say about Hartford.
Gotcha. Thank you. Well, that's all the questions that I have. Oscar, Joy, or Seth, if you have any questions for the panel, this is the time for you to unmute yourselves and ask them any questions that I did not cover. And so I'll take about 15, 20 seconds to see if you have any questions. If not,
I have a question.
Oh yeah. Oh shoot, my bad.
go ahead, Joy.
No, you can go. Okay, so specifically like during the pandemic, how difficult has it been transitioning from how college was to how it is now?
Um, so in a sense of the transition, I would say first off, Joy, hey, Joy is one of my babies from high school. I'm
Hi,
sorry,
Dion.
I love her. Anyway, I would say the transition. It was the only thing that was different was the setup in food pickup and classes. I say that because instead of you eating in the dining halls, you will grab and go, and there's only a few classes that are in person, and that is mainly STEM. From what I've seen, mainly STEM that require that in person with interaction. But the only thing that really changed was those two. Um, and then just the guidelines in the sense of social distancing, and more hygiene and sanitation, which most of these folks don't do because they dirty. Um, I'm being honest, they nasty. But if I can like narrow it down, like what specifically are you referring to in like the transition specifically that you may want us to bring up or let you be aware of or get more knowledge of, if that makes sense, in the sense of like that transition? Like, what do you
Mainly
mean?
like classes.
Okay, so what I would say is Zoom-itis, is that what it's called, is a thing. Um, like sitting in front of a computer screen like for a long amount of time is tiring. Um, so you have to really find a way to navigate through Zoom. That's one thing. And then in-person class, someone can correct me if I'm wrong. They tend to try to have no more than like about 15 people within that classroom settings. And most of the classrooms are in the admissions building where I work on the third floor. Others are within Mather on the third floor. Um, and to have that sense of distance um, within the classroom. So I think just the only difference is just more distancing, um, in the sense of like the community, if that makes sense, if that helps.
Yeah. So it's not like you're not going to classes. You guys are just doing both.
Yeah. So like most classes are online, so you can like be in the library or in your room, get on a computer, boop bop bing. And then for some in-person classes, it will be specific buildings that they want you to go to. And 9 times out of 10, if you have that class, who um you're the only person that will have access to that building because you have that class in order to like stay safe and have that sense of distance in regards to COVID.
Okay, thanks.
Seth, I believe you had a question. I know we only have like 9 minutes left on our call, but go ahead, Seth, and ask your question.
Yeah, like how rigorous is the work? That's what I want to figure out. Well, I got two questions, but wait, you gotta answer it.
Um, it's like Cam was saying when I jumped on, like it's way different from high school. Like this is a whole different field, and for you to be successful, you have to manage your time. So think about it like this, right? In high school, you have a set schedule for you every single day. The only thing that changes is the rotation of classes. It goes from ABC to BCAD, then from whatever to whatever. That's the only difference between college and high school. That you have a real set schedule for yourself. In college, you got to make your schedule and you got to abide by your schedule and you got to stay true to it and consistent. So the work is very rigorous. You got a lot of papers, you got tests, exams, midterms, but it's all about putting in the work and the effort. If you put in that work and the effort, you're going to get the outcome that you want. If you put in 50% of work and effort, you're going to get 50% of the grades that so it's all about, being committed and being persistent, not only for yourself, but for the schoolwork. One thing I will tell you, set goals for yourself. Set weekly goals, monthly goals, and then yearly goals, because those goals will help you. I have goals from mental care to self-care to schoolwork, and they're all weekly, monthly, and yearly. So, having those and check-ins with yourself is what really helps out a lot. It's all about being consistent.
I like to jump off Stephen's point. I agree. Like the work here is rigorous, but I feel like a lot of people come in with the mindset that it's just gonna be like rocket science. Like it's gonna be out of this world hard. So you end up making some things harder than what it is, bro. Like literally in some classes, I made the class harder than what it was, bro. Like they'll tell me write a paper and give me like a 2 weeks. And I'll be like, oh my God, it's telling me write a paper. Like I never written a paper before. But like a lot of the work is just time consuming. Honestly, like it's very rigorous, but you definitely have classes where it's not as like not even hard than some high school classes. Like it'll be very easy, but you just gotta make sure you manage your time correctly where you can get the work done. So yeah, the work's rigorous, but like it's not like strictly just rigorous courses. Like they got like a lot of fun classes and a lot of classes that you will find interesting to the point where it's not rigorous at all. It's just time consuming.
Thank you.
I'll also quickly add, the professors here obviously realize that you're taking a pretty big jump going from senior year of high school to freshman year of college, and they're not just going to take you immediately and throw you into the deep end of the pool. That being said, they're also not going to hold your hand on the way there. So it's definitely a little bit of a balance. So they're going to expect you to show up and be ready to learn the material they're going to have to teach you. But at the same time, they're not just going to abandon you with the work that you have to do with them. They're going to make themselves available to you, and they want to make sure you do well in their classes, because that's also a direct reflection on how they're teaching you as well. You need to think about that, because they obviously don't want to see their entire classes fail, because that clearly means something's wrong up there, if you get what I'm saying. So again, Steven and Cameron are both right. It's definitely about balance. If you set yourself a schedule, if you feel confident setting yourself a schedule and getting your work done, you're going to get the results that you're looking for.
Thank you. Seth, you
All
had
right,
a question, I believe.
all right, so this for Cam and Dion. So how did y'all feel about the process from going to Atlanta to Connecticut? That's all I got.
When I found out I was going to Connecticut for school, I'm not gonna lie, like I was like that summer I was all happy. I was cheering. That week it was time for me to leave. I was catching butterflies. I was like, man, I don't know if I want to go to Connecticut because it was like it's just different from the South. But once I got here, I'm actually glad I chose to go out of state because I'm not gonna necessarily say like I feel like I just like I know where to run to. I feel like my mom's not near me almost. Like, I'm almost like my own person. I'm my own man. I can get away from my past almost. So I enjoy coming to Connecticut because it's almost like starting a new life for college. Like everything I did in high school is almost behind me now, and I can achieve new things and accomplish new goals and set new milestones here without having like what I did in the past like be with me. Like in high school, yeah, you went to high school with me, right? I'm pretty sure you went to high school.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
you know, in high school, I got all these awards and stuff like that, and I didn't want to come with that mindset in college, like, oh yeah, and I was like this in high school, so I'm feeling like it's gonna be a breeze through college. Almost everybody at Trinity, man, been valedictorian, salutatorian, had 4.0s, the best basketball player at high school. So I wanted to
Opposite of
hear,
Mountain Air.
hmm?
Opposite of Mountain Air.
Yeah. Opposite of McNair, or even like other than DeKalb County schools. So I wanted to come here like with a humble. I want to come here as humble as possible, and I definitely glad I went to Connecticut from Georgia.
Dion, anything to add?
Um, about that, in the sense of the transition, Dion was ready to go. I was like, Georgia getting on my nerves. I can't. I was like, ooh, ma, I can't wait to leave your house. Cause you're talking about bills, bills, bills. So I'm just getting on my nerves. I was just ready to go. When I got here, I was like, oh, okay, this is, But I feel like it's just, as Cameron's saying, it's just that brand new start because you're, I'll, okay, let me backtrack. So in most POC communities, we had this weight or this pressure on us, whether it's being a first generation student or not, us being a chosen few, right? So when we go out of state, we don't want to let our folks down. We want to make sure we're getting the best grades. We want to make sure and let them know we're making the best of our opportunity. Almost having this perfectionist type of mentality. That's what I came here with. Um, like, but when I was like trying to be perfect, because the only person to be perfect is Jesus. But when I was trying to be here perfect and do everything right, I was realizing to fail, and that's okay. So I think one thing I would say is like when you get up here, it's okay to fail or to struggle or not succeed in something that you wanted to do, because that's only just a learning experience for what you can do next time, or just a learning experience of just like what can go differently. um but I will say you're going to have some days where you're just like, dang, I want to go back so bad because I'm so far away from home. It's rarely people like me on campus that come so far away from their home and can't really relate to how I'm feeling. And then a person of color at that, it's just the icing on the cake of like, what can I really do? But I feel like personally, when you get here, just try to make those connections, whether it's mentors, student mentors, or peers, to truly help you navigate through that. Because guarantee you're going to find someone to help you and guide you. So, main advice, piece of advice I'll give you from that transition, have the mentality, like Cameron was saying, being humble and know that it's just okay to mess up and fail. Because at the end of the day, you're going to get back up.
Mr. Maxwell
100%.
say different. Mr. Maxwell be different. Mr. Maxwell,
Oh my gosh, man. Well, look, we know about Maxwell. We know
he
about
be saying
Maxwell.
different.
And that's another thing. I'm gonna add on to that. Oh wait, I'm gonna add on. Yeah, I'm gonna add on to that. So if you really want a piece of advice for either you or anybody else who really want to go Trinity, because this is what happened to me. When you do early decision, right? If you get in by doing early decision, you get a full ride scholarship. If you do early decision and you get in, Trinity give you a full ride scholarship. That's what I'm on. So for you or any of your other peers, and Steven, we did that. So if you really want to go to the school, and this is a bomb, I'm not gonna curse, bomb behind school. This is a really good school. It's a PWI, yeah, but that really don't mean nothing because as everyone has stated in this panel, it's just what you make it. Like everybody in this panel can tell you how energetic, how impactful, and everything else I am because I gave myself that mindset and I allowed them to be my support to know that it's okay to fail. And also, I can make the best of my experience. So just keep in mind that I'm going to reiterate this 110%. Like, it is okay to falter. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not perfect. You're going to struggle. But at the end of the day, it's just how do you plan to get back up? Would you allow your support system to get you back up? Would you allow your mindset to be intact? And also, like, what steps can you take? And like, I also want to reiterate, like, feel free to reach out if college is able to any one of us, like email, phone number, social media, if you want to, any type of contact, because we already know what the struggle is like for that transition. And I speak for everybody, we are willing to help you out as much as we can.
Thank you so much. Well, that's pretty much all we have for today. And so I just want to take this time to say thank you again to Randy, Sebastian, Trinity, and all of the current college students that made themselves available to speak to our college AIM students. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. I think midterms are probably coming up soon. So you guys will probably be face down in the book soon. Just getting ready for those exams. That's, like I said, that's all that I have. Randy and Sebastian, I will send over the list of the names of the students that were on the call today. So if you have any follow-up questions or anything that you need, just please feel free to reach out to me. And that's it. So with that being said, do you have anything else to say, Randy or Sebastian, before we end the call?
No, I just want
Just
to
wanted
thank
to
everyone.
chime in again.
Oh.
Go ahead, Randy.
This is our virtual world. I just wanted to thank everybody for tuning in, our current students, for giving us their time and your own experience. It's nice that you all had some connections, either knowing each other from school prior. So thank you for really spending your time with us, because I know you all are very busy with your homework. So thanks again. And to the prospective students, if you have any questions, feel free to call the office. We're offering online interviews. I may have missed, that being said, if you'd like to schedule an interview, you can do that on our website. We're doing them virtually. So I would strongly encourage you to take advantage of that. And it would be with one of our current senior students. So thank you again. Go ahead, Sebastian.
Sure. Thanks, Randy. So thank you all once again for your time today, especially to our panelists for your participation, for your time, to our participants, and to you, Corey, for your time and for moderating. If you do have any questions, highly encourage you all to connect with us in the coming weeks and months. We're really at your disposal, and we'd love to help and chat with you some more.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one.
You guys have a good one.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.